Hello and welcome to episode 63 of the Lieberland Show. I'm your host, Adam J. Carswell. Today we are joined by Rav Altman, the Liberland representative to the Dominican Republic. He's much more than that, and you guys will learn that here today. He's actually been on the show once before. We'll have to see what episode number that was, but definitely do just a quick web search, Liberland Show, Rav Altman, and check out his first one. It was fantastic.
I
Rob,
think it was. I think it was within the first 20s. I think it was under 20.
it was early on. You're right. So there you go. You guys heard him. He's our rabbi, Rav Altman. Thank you so much for blessing us with your presence here on the show again. Do you have any opening remarks for our
Pleasure.
fellow Lieberlandians?
Well, it's always good to talk among friends, and we all know Adam contribution to the Liberland family, mostly in the hosting things. I quite didn't figure out all the different digital platforms that he's using, but we know that if you need something worldwide, Adam is your guy. So it's a pleasure. I hope everybody is well, in their crazy times of pandemics and global crisis. And but I am optimistic that we're gonna get out from this crisis, because the way I look at it is humanity is resilient, and humanity has always prevailed. I mean, it's not the first times there was plagues and crisis and world disasters, and humanity has survived, bruised but survived. I believe this is not different this time, and hopefully we'll come out stronger.
Absolutely. I love that humanity always prevails. And that's definitely the mindset that we have in everything that we're doing at Lieberland as well. I want to note we do have a special guest listener with us here live today, and that is Rav's mother. I think one of the first times we've had a live audience kind of here on the show. Maybe we'll have to do that more in the future. But Rav, do you want to give a quick shout out to our guest today? Or our listener. Do you have me? Am I there? We don't need her to unmute, but we just want to let everyone know we have a live listener. if you would like to unmute, that's fine. Definitely. Oh, it looks like we have a Rob accidentally disconnected. So one moment, we'll bring him back on here.
Hi, I like to welcome my mom to the Liberland family. She's not as adverse with our project, a little bit. So, but she's, parents always is formed by two major players in their life, my father and my mother. So, I mean, I don't know if it's 50% or some are more, some are less, but I'm definitely a combine of both of my parents. And mom is been with me for all my life, and she's also a part of my contribution to Liberland. Everybody knows in Liberland my father, but mom is also a silent partner, and it's a welcome that mom showing sometimes to support us and listen to our agenda today.
Such an honor to have her here with us. And Rav, we're going to dive into some cool things here today, especially in regards to the Dominican Republic and other projects that you're working on diligently for Lieberland. But before we do, and I know we covered this before in our last interview, but to bring our listeners back up to speed, could you kind of just explain to everyone how you first found out about Lieberland, a little bit of your background too, because you have quite the resume. So I don't know how you want to give us the short version of it, but you're an impressive guy, and just want to know how you first got connected with Lieberland.
Okay, a little history to make it brief. I was born in Israel in few over a few decades ago, and then I've been in politics and world history was always my interest on going back many times. I've used to go to Europe. I used to go to archaeological, a lot of the historical and art it came out from my mother's side. She always educated me in history and cultures. And I used to be involved with, as a little kid with the different politics. I been involved with different campaigns in Israel and stuff, just, doing the groundwork as a kid. Then I grew up, I moved in, I came to the United States. And I currently live here over 20 years ago, but I already came in the 90s. And, you look around and I believe that, as members of societies, we need to always keeps our eyes open and be at least cares about what's going on. I've seen a couple of years ago, I believe 3, 4 years, maybe a little bit more, some kind of an article. Actually, I read it on an Israeli newspaper. It's called Ynet, about an interesting guy. It actually was in Hebrew. That is trying to open a new country in Europe, a brand new country. So I went ahead and I searched it up. I find the guy. The name was Vitya Lichka. So so I reached out to him on Facebook. That Vitya Lichka is the president, for anybody who doesn't know, of course. A very impressive guy. His vision and the way that's what he achieved in the last. It's going to be 6 years already since he started that project is amazing. And what's the amount of, because you always have some different peoples who are creating kingdoms and states, but everybody look. But there was a serious operations that has been done for 5, 6 years already, and it's keep growing. And you see that if you look at the diversity of the people and the intelligence of the people, that's a serious project. You get crypto, got technology guys, you get the blockchains people who are interested, you get different businessmen, different press peoples. I mean, if Liberland was a hoax, it wouldn't attract such a diversity of peoples into that project. And the thing is correct, because you know what? If you looked at worldwide, there is no perfect system in any democracy, and I'm not talking about the authoritative things. Any democracy, they always have some problems and issues. And somebody who comes in and trying to look at what we have, every country has developed throughout the years. So whatever is good for 2021, United States is from 1776. The foundation is good, but they didn't build it up in 1776 for 2020. Excuse me. So if you go ahead and you take a piece of land, as small as it is 7 square kilometers, and you are trying to learn for the mistakes. So perfect system, it's not, but it could be as close to what we need today than there is any other place in the globe which have history that's not, it could be ignored.
Yeah, I almost don't know where to begin with everything you just said, because it was just fantastic point after fantastic point. And I'm really grateful that you brought up the diversity that's within Lieberland, and especially because you brought up how diverse Lieberland is because of all of the different ways that people who are involved, how they think. Yes, I think the way a lot of us Lieberlandians look, we have some diversity in regards to as I just said, the way we look. But the most powerful thing, and exactly what you just shared, and I just love that so much, so I want to reiterate it, is the diversity in the group as far as how everyone thinks. and it's very innovative. And as you mentioned, over the past 6 years, the country has just grown exponentially, and I think that's going to continue, especially with leaders like you involved. So, speaking of you being involved, Rav, can you tell us about what you're working on in the Dominican Republic right now? Because I know you have some very strong diplomatic connections there that have benefited us already. You're based out of New Jersey. And so I know you're actually doing some work there in New Jersey as well, as far as recognition for Lieberland. But let's first start with the Dominican Republic and Caribbean. Give us a little update on what you're working on.
You see, I was uh, actually my affiliation with the Dominicans started with me becoming. I had an individual who was trying to promote smaller, that everybody knows taxations and property taxes, and the fact that everybody needs to pay for everybody's, from their own pocket, and as a property owners in New Jersey, I was working with the Dominican characters that it was running. He first ran for town council, and then I ran him for mayor a few years back. Well, that specific individual didn't turn out to be what we were looking for, and he never won, and he joined the over taxation machines. But it sort of opened for me the door to meet Dominicans in New Jersey area. What happened to me? I was appealed by there is a Dominican leader. His name was Luis Abinader, who became the leader of They formed a new political party about also 6 years ago, about the same time that Liberland was formed, and he became the leader of the oppositions. And I do appreciate good political leadership, and if anybody really knows me well, I have a very high standards to people's why I can consider my leaders or consider political leaders, because I don't believe that anybody could just jump in and say a few words and become a political leader. I believe that leading a country or leading a organization or leading something else, you need to have high standards, and you need to be a, a decent person. So it's not always the policies, it's sometimes the leadership itself. So you could have good policies, but so I was attracted to this specific individual uh, as a leader, and I started to follow what he was trying to do. So he was running for the Dominican Republic's presidency in 2016. So I started to get involved with his people and with his party. Eventually, in the 2016 election, he was defeated by the incumbent uh, president and the ruling party. But I still kept out the connection with that peoples, and that he was defeated in May 2016. That's where the Dominican election is normally before pandemics in May. But on 2016, September 2016, I happens to be with my father in New York, and the the leader came to meet with me and my father in the hotels. And we sat down for an hour. We had a nice meeting with him. So and I kept out that connection with them as well. At later on, I also have other friends that are Dominicans who happens to invite us. There is a parade, every summer in New Jersey, sponsored by the and Duarte Institute in the United States. Now, the Duarte Institute is a Dominican institute who's reaching out for the Dominican peoples, preserving the Dominican cultures and Dominican thing. Duarte, if you don't know, is the George Washington of the Dominican Republic, or for our people is the Vityadlichka of the Dominican Republic. He's considered the founding father. So I mean, every time you hear something, so in his honorary, as we gonna have seen less on. So we were honored, the president and the vice president of Liberland, and Dave Molyneux and me, as by the state of New Jersey and the mayor of Newark and the institute and that specific parade. We had a nice ceremony. We've been they put a nice article about us in 2018. Now, moving forward, we had one of my friends who has met with us the last time that Vit came to the UN. I think it was 2019. I think 2019. He came to the UN National Conference in September. We met with a friend who was then running for the Congress of the Dominican Republics. Now they have a same way we have a representative in the United States Congress for every district in the United States. They have United States as a district representative in the Dominican Parliament. So we were sitting with them. There was a nice delegation. There was about again Bogi and Vit and Tom, and I believe Dave and Joy. I don't. Joey maybe was there or not. There's a few guys. We were sitting and we were talking about him, exploring. At the end of this day, they took power in the Dominican Republics. They won the election. The election was in July. They pushed it because of the pandemic. The president, Luis, has been taking office in August. And we were trying to build up that relationship with them. Everything is, pandemic wise, it's slowing down, traveling and then restrictions and other stuff. But we've been in contact with them. And again, trying to pursue that relationship from the Dominican Republics to benefit Liberland and the Dominican Republics.
Well, there you go, folks. I mean, Rav, I think as a rabbi, you become a master at storytelling as well. So thank you for the tremendous details and context there. As far as, what we can look forward to with the Dominican Republic, let's say within the next 6 months, because as you mentioned, everything may be a little bit, well, some things are sped up because of the pandemic, but I think anything government related as far as getting diplomacy, I don't know if transactions or deals is the right word, but anything diplomatic might be moving a little bit slower now. So what's something that Liberlandians and individuals from the Dominican Republic can look forward to over the next, say 6 months?
I would say that we are negotiating some kind of deals. I mean, which we can't talk about it in public until stuff is formalized. But Liberland can offer the Dominicans a lot of stuff. Opening they want to be open in different markets, which we will do for them. I mean, the president itself has been busy, with his pandemics and with his issues. Administrating is working very hard over there to put the country back to track again. The old party was there for over 20 years. He needs to uproot a lot of corruptions.
I believe that, there's something could be done soon. It's all depend, how fast we're moving about, it's as you know, it's give and takes, Once they see what we have and we can give them, then you attract their attentions for them, to move forward. But I don't think they've been that involved with so much foreign policies. I think the main thing they care about, is getting vaccines into the countries, to vaccinate the peoples. But I would say that, maybe we will have something more as the summers comes up, within the next few months. Hopefully, you say 6 months. I would say that that I'm optimistic regarding some news coming up within the next 6 months. Maybe by the summer we can have some kind of an agreement with them, to establish us. But it looks positive because they know us and they like us. We did give them masks last summers as the
Right, with
Liberland Aid
the
Foundation.
Lieberland Aid Foundation, I believe, did that.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Well, let's talk about some more optimistic things, and we'll start winding it down here. But could you, I guess, again, for our Liberlandians and those, even maybe for those tuned in for the first time here, just talk about something that, as far as Lieberland, that you want to speak into existence. Maybe something that you want to see happen within the next 3 to 5 years, something you're really excited about, something you think should happen, needs to happen, you want to happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Okay.
What the key is for us, and and I don't want to repeat, we spoke about the Olympics, but Olympics is down the road, because the Olympics, you need competition, and you need investors, and you need to be really part of the world, because so hopefully it's happening. I don't know how soon, but with that too. But I was suggested, and that's what I was saying, and as my vision is, as I believe we have to launch a Liberland broadcasting organizations, and I've spoken about it for several times. The broadcasting organizations, which will be an umbrella organizations for all Liberland media, to be at one place, which will be a place that we can send people's, if you want to know what's going on in Liberland, go to this specific place, that website, who will have listed and listen to all the different broadcasting, and so they know at what's the latest in Liberland, because we don't have that venue yet. But the most important thing is, I'd like to get Liberland participate in the Eurovision Song Contest. Now, to anybody who doesn't know what the Eurovision Song Contest is, it's a song company, song competitions, who has been going on all the way since the 50s. Every single year, they're broadcasting in many nations, tens of millions watching it, usually around May. Every country send a song, and the song is coming with a 30 seconds, promo, and you get, the fans get to vote for it. I mean, it's evolved since I was a kid. It's a little different, but now it's 10,000 people needs to be in the place. I don't know how they're going to do it now with the COVID, but that could give us an exposure for 32 million views. And the thing is, you know what? It doesn't have to. You don't have to win it. But even if you make it, there's two semifinals the week before, and the final is the top 20, 18, 20 is four or 24 people countries goes to the finals and Saturday night, and that could really give us a booming exposure. And I don't believe it's such a hard way to do it. And again, in that it's not the Olympics, so, but your chance to win it is as good as chance as everybody else. If you get a hot performer with a hot songs, so you could win it that day. So let's see, we get somebody nice, that's appeals to people's, and he comes in and he represents that our country. We can export it. Usually the winners get to host it the following year in their own country if they could produce it. So for us, may be visible now because Liberland hasn't been built yet. But if the exposure that we can have and the flag and the things,
Yeah.
that's the best PR we can have for anything. And I don't think it's such hard things to do. I mean, every other project is it takes a long time, but this is much easier to do.
Yeah, I love that. And it just shows the power, as you were saying, one, the power of athletics, and two, the power of music. And I say that from a competitive standpoint, those are two, I don't know if you want to call them industries or parts of life that transcend borders. I mean, in a way, it kind of unifies people within that border, but sports and music are just something that people from all around the world can relate to. And it's so powerful how you're saying, that could be the great platform for Lieberland to get exposure. And you're right. And I want to say, to follow up on that, anyone who's interested in learning more and potentially representing Lieberland and singing on behalf of the country, it's probably not as crazy as you think. I mean, all it takes is to reach out. So we are going to give you a way to reach out to any of us here at Lieberland. I mean, you can always reach out to info@lieberland.org and let them know that you listened to this episode. But then also, Rob, I know you'll probably provide us a way to get in touch with you as well here near the end. And then one more thing I want to highlight is you talked about bringing Lieberland broadcasting under one umbrella, which is getting closer. It's getting closer. We have Lieberlandpress.com, but you're right. I mean, I just had a conversation the other day. I know we have Lieberland TV. We have this. I think we have Lieberland Radio. My big ask, what I would ask for anyone listening right now, because it takes a lot of work to just even, for example, just to produce this show. We need an organizer. We need someone that's going to take me and take anyone else who's producing Lieberland content and put us all in line and get us organized, because it's just too much to be doing this one and be responsible for everything else. So if that sounds like something you want to do, again, please reach out to us. There's multiple different ways you can reach out to the Lieberland show, but as I mentioned, info@lieberland.org is always great. And that leads us to where we're at here now, Rav. Before we close it out, do you have any or what's your preferred way? If you could give out one way for anyone listening to follow up and get in touch with you, what would that one way be?
I would say you can reach me on the Liberland Olympic Facebook page. I mean, message the page.
Perfect. The Lieberland Olympic page, guys, we'll get a link to that in the show notes as well. So you can contact Rav, our Rabbi Altman, there directly. Rob, it's always a joy, as I mentioned, to have you on the show. Any closing remarks for our listeners today?
Keep doing the great work you're doing, and it's going to be a great year for us. 2021, I have a feeling will be a breakout year.
Absolutely. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in to the Lieberland Show. This has been episode 63. We were joined today by Rav Altman, our dear rabbi at Lieberland, and also the Lieberland representative to the Dominican Republic. I'm your host, Adam J. Carswell. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next episode.